Two.
Hey. Okay. Johnny Ray. Johnny Ray. Johnny Ray.
Which must. Did one of these guys spank you, or are you just chilling in the back? Do it. Alright, for those of you that haven't been here long enough to have heard this little part of my speech before, the last Monday and Wednesday of the month, I like to touch on some of the other arts that we can/do teach here. So it's Kobudo, Iaido, which is sword, and Taijutsu. This month just happens to be Taijutsu. So, one of my personal favorites. Taijutsu is, be quiet, a little different than karate in the beginning. You can laugh at that, Sensei. That was supposed to be funny. In the fact that in the beginning, it's much more circular art than karate. Karate, hard power. Taijutsu, more circular. Okay. That changes eventually.
That was a car outside.
Okay. So a couple things to remember before we get started on this. Taijutsu. Key part of Taijutsu is to relax. Okay? It's important in karate, but it is absolutely 100% imperative to Taijutsu. Second, karate in the beginning looks like linear power. Straight punch. Taijutsu comes from the bisection of a circle. So you make a circle and you're going to bisect it with something. Either a straight line or more likely another circle. We talk about in karate that we want the head to hip level, so that wherever you set your stance, that's your stance, right? Stance height. In Taijutsu, it works off of a wave function. You are actually going to impart a wave into your opponent. That doesn't mean you get to do that kind of craziness, but it does mean that you are going to have some vertical motion in the beginning. Now, Hanshi always said, in the beginning, karate looks very linear, Taijutsu looks very circular. The more you train, the more circular karate becomes, the more linear your Taijutsu becomes. So that eventually, it's all paths up the same mountain, so you end up in the same place. So we got it in the back row. One of the good things about Taijutsu is there is one stance, and one stance only. Nobody's going to say it.
What is the stance,
No.
sir?
Isn't that the same? Never mind, y'all. Failing you today. So, what I want everybody to do is just right foot, just take one normal step. So you should be about heel toe-ish for most people. There's your Taijutsu stance. Right foot, left foot. Knees got a little bit of a bend to it, so you're soft in the knees.
And they're both straight forward?
Straight forward.
Yes.
Front foot is straight forward. Back foot, in this position, you're probably going to be a little bit 45, just like you're normally standing. If your flexibility allows you to be both toes forward, rock and roll. But don't force it. Even when I had a good set of hips, my back toes from this stance never pointed directly forward. Back. So, just bring your hands up like you do Chuan Kaman, so just open them up. Yeah, Jackson, slide over. There's one bunched up now. Keep going.
Fingers
Keep going.
loosely or tight together?
Supple. Not open, but not forcefully closed. So just touching, kind of supple. Again, relax. To impart this wave function, the first thing we do is dance. So, martial arts might not be ballet, but it definitely is dance. So, what we're going to do here is you're going to lower, slide forward as you come up. This is the wave function. And back. And forward. And back. And forward. And just keep doing that. Okay, Jackson, let your arms slide out more, relax. You understand if you have a neck. Okay, the hands should move as well.
Should the palms be more out or in like this?
More or less, Jason. Okay, one, I'm pretty sure that you don't walk down the street taking that larger step. So this is a normal step. There we go. Alright, Sensei, I'm gonna switch feet one quick.
Okay, step through and switch steps. Keep doing the same thing. Moving up and down as you're stepping forward and back. Your hands going in and out, they go up and down a little bit too. All relaxed. Relax everything.
So again, the hands must move. Whole body goes away. Not, that's what we're trying to get rid of. We're trying to get-
And sir, not this.
Not that, no, this. Switch feet. 2, 4. Alright, come on. Set that little bar easy. Cool. Now, we graduate to partners. Same thing you were just doing. This way. Cool. If we need or want to switch, and one of us is going to decide and just follow. Cool. All right, let's do this. Greg, you take Ken. You take Jackson. You take Danny. Walk with it. Okay, right foot to right foot, the back of your right hand to the back of your right hand. Those of you that can't figure out left and right, there we go. All right, my side over here is going to step forward first. You're just gonna slide forward, the other side's just gonna slide back. Now you're not trying to drive each other, you're just moving back and forth. It's no different than what you were just doing. So just back and forth on your own rhythm. How'd you answer? Alright, young man. Young man. back to hand. Let's try this again, but let's see if we can all follow my direction. My side is gonna step forward first.
Closest.
I do it. There we go. Hands must move. The biggest part of all of this, well, let me rephrase that. There are two main goals to this particular exercise. One is the relaxation and the rhythm. The second is feeling your opponent. If you feel yourself bunching up, then one of you is wrong. Because until you can match someone, you cannot then disrupt their rhythm. So you must be able to match their rhythm first. Now, when I say switch, whoever is about to take the next step forward is going to step forward with their other foot, switch hands, the other person is going to step back and match them. And switch. Not horrible. All right. Good, I'm seeing far too many stiff shoulders. Relax the shoulders, let the arms go. The hands should move about the same distance that your feet are moving. Maybe a little less, but they should move. Hey, young man. Okay, all right, everybody face front. Now, beyond the fact that this is a really cool little drill, what good is it? Well, here's what it is. So, now, as we're doing this, we do little finger. Little hook. He goes back. After a couple times, it's his turn. He'll hook, do whatever he does. Back into the rhythm. And we switch. Take him on first one maybe. Play with it a little bit. Nice. This time, since I asked a good question, you guys probably didn't catch it. I don't want this, not yet. What I want is hooking, maybe just a couple of fingers into that juncture and pull it. I'm not trying to whoosh him just yet. This is all just about a little bit. I just want his hip to move.
I guess maybe you'll get there. What's the value difference of that versus?
Versus gripping?
Yeah.
This is how you're going to start any grip. Those of you that were with me your first day and I taught you how to make a punch, we started from the little finger.
This.
In. This comes from the sword. The same thing here. If I want to grab somebody, if I grab them this way, there's one thing, depends on how big you are. If you grab them this way, things change.
Yes.
So we're going to practice that here, which is starting with this little finger.
Yes.
Plus, here, I'm not completely committed to this grab. Other things can happen quickly. Here, I'm committed,
Yes.
even if it's just for, that much.
Yes.
This is more just friction.
Right.
Now, he could very easily, if he was relaxed and wasn't playing along with what we're doing, he'd slip out of that
Yes.
very easily. But this is just, I'm just wanting, because all I'm trying to do is just move his hip a little
Yes.
bit. Cool?
Yes.
Go, back at it.
Keep trying to go for the whistle. Keep that continual motion all the time. Okay. Same, which is all part of the same motion. Feel something on his hip. Maybe a little bit.
Alright, Jackson's over here asking a good question, so we might as well answer his question. Cool. We're here doing this. What differences are there between this and this?
You're still invested in it, just different way.
Okay?
There's control of the wrist.
Right?
There's more of a circular motion to one versus the other. One is back and down, one is kind of circling over.
Revisit that in 15 minutes.
Okay. Okay.
Not gonna disagree with you,
Yes.
just revisit that in about 15 minutes.
I'll make note, I'll put it on my
Make note-
calendar.
Make note of that, put it in your calendar, come back to it. What? Okay.
What is the difference between this and this, he said? I mean, one
Other
goes
than
down
the
and
obvious.
under.
Alright, well, here's the point I'm trying to make. Okay. From here, that's the reaction that I want out of it. We've all stumbled in here, I know we
Yes.
have. What happens when you stumble? What happens to your brain?
You have to reset.
Right? It wants to reset. Here, what's he thinking about?
Punch me.
He's punching me. One is not better than the other. They are different in how I want him to react, or how he will react. If you start working technique, if he's good enough, he's gonna see that coming. That little, it's kind of a Jedi mind trick kind of thing. It'll get him to blink, you can go wherever you want at that point. Kind of thing.
Kind of like a surprise. Like a gotcha.
Maybe?
It feels like the same off balance thing, because human beings, when you're off balance, you have to, let me get back on balance, because when you do this, I get off balance, versus this one, I still have some balance with me to do something.
That is an excellent point. It's one of those that sometimes the little things will mess you up worse than the big thing. Like if you physically fall off of something, you know you're falling, you're gonna compensate with something. But that little toe stumble, while you're trying to figure out where your body is going,
Yep.
in some ways is more difficult to deal with initially than just a big fall or a big technique.
So would it be more like a trip, so to speak?
Sure. Sure, absolutely. Okay, everybody good with all that kind of? Alright, let's get to something a little bit fun. Alright, yeah, let's do this. Okay, Sensei's gonna reach out and grab wrist, one wrist, two wrist, I don't care. Again, this wave function. In karate, we talk about off balancing. But for today, we're actually gonna just impart this wave function. So I'm going to bring him down to start this wave. You see what happens to his hip, it's that same thing that was happening with his hip earlier, with the hook. Now, I'm going to circle, and then I'm going to bisect that circle. So again, we're gonna start the wave, we're gonna come up, we're gonna make a circle. Physically look at the hand, and then cut the hand. So you make a circle and then bisect it. Bisect it with a line. Bisect it with a circle. Then we bisect it again with a line. Or another circle. Moves? Yes, no, baby?
So one of them is more like a half moon and the other one's the full, because you went halfway and then went down, right?
Yes, but that's not how you want to look at it.
Okay.
Because in a way, your circle starts here.
Right. So when you get there, that's half. Well, that one's full. I'm talking about the one where you is.
Remember, what was it, 2 summers ago? The
Nah,
helix?
this,
So, when is a circle, and when is a circle not a circle?
is,
If you make it three-dimensional.
is.
So at a certain point, we're going from a two-dimensional circle and a two-dimensional circle to a three-dimensional helix. Says that you would work round robin with those three. All right, face your partners. Somebody grab somebody. Make it happen.
I wanna grab you first, so I can see.
Okay, for those of you that are asking, well, which way did Sensei go? It doesn't matter. It was cross. I went to his outside, which is my inside, because that's where he lined up better. There's nothing wrong with going the opposite direction. It still works the same. It's just gonna feel a little different. Make a circle. You got to here. Now, not continuing this circle.
Like that?
No, cut the circle to get it a little harder. See if he gets all bowed up and holds on, that's really good for you to break. Or punch him in the face, one or the other.
Want me to grab you next time I do this?
One, you're not doing the wrong technique, you're doing the right technique in the wrong place. Right. You're trying to combine what I was showing with a different technique that was that way. So either down and up this way and cut, or down and up this way and cut. Coming this way is a different technique.
You're doing an awful lot of cutting back
maybe I'm making it something, this is not against anybody or anything. When I say bisect a circle, does everybody know what that means, to bisect something?
Cut it in half.
Yeah, cut it in half. So if I'm making a circle, I'm gonna cut it in half. Or cut it into two pieces, more specifically, not necessarily exactly half. So you're making your circle, and then you're gonna cut it down the middle.
That's what I was calling half moon.
I wanted to be more specific and kind of stop talking to them for a minute and talk to you guys. That's what I was trying to do.
So, the way I'm looking at it is that like someone grabbing me, I'm gonna end up looking at the end of the matter switch and then cutting.
This is what we're doing. Sensei grabs, it doesn't really matter what he grabs, okay? I want him off balance first. Both, two hands, maybe. Okay, here. If I just try and go, now eventually I'll get it because I'm almost twice his size. Now I don't have to worry about it.
You used very little energy to get that over after you did that.
I want his stability. No, he erased it. Visionary mobility.
Listen,
You take two of those things, any one of those things, you're heading good. You can take two or more, two of them, you've won the fight. You take all three, it's great. So to leave him here, again, even though I can out-muscle him from here, I want to out-muscle him, take energy. If I take his hip, and that's as subtle as I need it to be, his hip is gone. He's not lost the fight, but he now needs to do something. And no matter what he does, I'm at least half a step ahead of him, or I should be, kind of thing, right? So then I make my circle, and then I just cut my circle.
Yes.
Oh.
And in order to get them off balance, you're not just moving your hand, you're actually dipping the waist part. You're moving your body
Whole weight
down.
motion of the whole body, yes.
Yes.
For this particular form of off balancing, in Japanese, kuzushi, off balancing, yes. Because there's more than one way to off balance somebody.
Yes.
Now, for this one, I'm going down for several reasons. One, I like to do that motion, physically down from there. Second, I'm taller than he is. So to try and lift him up is gonna be harder for me. Like doing like hip throws and things like that. No, he's too much below my hip already. Leg sweeps, people like it. Right? He's kind of gray area. Can maybe do a hip throw on. Sean Eric, I'll hip throw him all day long. Because his hip is already up here. I don't have to get under him. I already am under him. Kind of thing. Makes my life easy. And sweeping those giant tree trunk legs is not the easiest thing in the world to do. So you kind of got to play with that. Now, you can go up. Like Sean Eric, depending upon how he would grab me, I would send him up to off balancing. Because again, he's big. He doesn't like to be up. He likes to be down where I am. Gravity assist kind of thing. So you have to kind of play with that. And then you can also, that's physical off balancing. Did I hit him?
No.
No. But what did he do?
He went back.
Wah! He gave me his hip.
You mentally.
Mentally. Right?
That's a good idea.
Spirit.
That was more, he gave
You
you his
lasted
heart.
longer than before. I'm giving you credit. You're learning. You lasted longer than you.
That was taking his heart, not his hip, right?
I was taking his hip through taking his heart. Okay. Now, okay, here's the thing. Okay, he did exactly what I wanted him to do for the purposes of this demonstration. How does, in real life, somebody tries this? How do you get out of it?
Pop him before they
Pop 'em
eat
first.
Yeah.
Okay, look at the difference,
Yeah.
right? Here, oh, the fight's already started. If you haven't realized that, you're wrong. Okay, the fight's already started at that point. All right? Everybody understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Something to remember. No one can intimidate you. you can only allow yourself to be intimidated.
This,
So they're trying that nonsense, and you just stand there and take it, you're the one allowing that to happen. Do something. Now, his second best choice, other than that, go sideways. Step off the side.
so backing away is not,
Backing
backed away
away,
evenly?
well-
Oh, even if you,
Well,
the same,
let
the
me
same.
rephrase that. So, from here, backing up is a bad idea. Here, yes, he should be backing up.
Is,
Okay, just take one step forward. No. That kind of thing.
is,
Yeah.
But once it's gotten to here, the second that you're doing.
They can already reach it.
They're gone. It's already gonna
Is,
go. Yeah, cause this isn't gonna stay this way for very long.
is,
Right.
So, yes, backing up is good in its place, it's not the default.
is,
Even if it's something as simple as that. What just happened?
for him,
Yeah.
your centers, you don't have as much of a,
Well, no, yeah, if I'm the aggressor, here I'm just, we've all seen that nonsense.
Yeah.
Probably been big to go one time ago. And he does, still looking at me with this shit. That. How does that help him? Possibly.
to me, it's not, his center isn't aligned with yours, and he has more of your body than you have of his to deal with.
He's already,
By going sideways, he physically puts less of himself at risk.
Okay, possibly. Kind of looping back a little what Greg's saying.
already got an angle of escape.
Maybe. But from the, let's say, from the taijutsu aspect, from the energetic standpoint of me trying to take his heart, what happened?
The energy's going.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
Standing here this way,
Yeah.
you can believe this or not, until it happens to you, you probably won't believe it. This actually sets up a field between the two of us. It becomes palpable.
we're all magnets, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And it will, if we allow it to build, it'll build.
Kind of like the tension you can feel, like tension you can like feel.
Yes, absolutely. It starts getting into this feedback loop. Now it goes.
Yes. Never thought of that.
Funny story. My boss, she was my first supervisor at the health department. I worked directly for her for 5 years. Then I worked ancillary to her for about 10 years, and now I'm working directly back for her again. She's about this tall, and about that big around, and she's like a pit bull. And she gets rolling, like a pit bull.
So more like a chihuahua.
And she would literally, when she would get really upset and really just, and she would literally get in front of me, and not at me, but just about this, and you could, I would just take half a step back and you could feel her fall. Because she was literally, you could actually see and feel her leaning on the energy that she was pushing out. And as long as I was holding it up, I was literally holding her up. But the second I shifted, or maybe slid back a little bit, she would literally fall forward. And that's the only way I can get her to be quiet. Then it would reset her, just like that little pull, it would reset her, and then we could have a conversation about whatever it was that
Yes.
had annoyed her. So same thing, just,
I love that. I've never thought of it, but I believe in that energy thing, and I can see how that would make it,
all right, go back to doing whatever it was we were just doing.
Okay, so this now.
I didn't hear you.
So, he's doing the same thing we were doing.
Yeah.
So,
Somebody grab somebody.
Like that?
You guys don't have to necessarily keep the same grab going, you can change it up, grab same side, grab funky, grab karate wrong, as they say. Good. Jack harder with my elbow down and shoulder relaxed.
So, I don't look like that.
If you're gonna do that big of a motion, take your whole body with you, don't lean over.
So,
The second that I do this, he's gonna turn me out. Like a rope. Here, when I go down, I'm looking like the train does.
okay,
Everything in type is zero.
What we're doing right now, or what?
down.
It is to get one, but just to get one.
Good. In case you hadn't figured it out, we are working, yes, valid technique, but we're also looking mostly tonight at the bisection of the circles. So just keep that in mind.
My turn.
Like that?
Like that. You kind of, you have to, one thing that I think you must keep in mind is that when you're trying to break it off, you don't
I'm kind of
that,
holding on to you, right?
yeah, you're.
Seriously, I went too big, you tried to outmuscle too big, you went too big. This one, so I go,
Yeah,
yeah.
If you
Now,
keep that grip on it,
Shorter.
you're basically, you're basically putting
Well,
that.
there are things that there are things that I can do, but I can't outmuscle you.
So if you grab me
Once, well, okay, let's talk about the physics.
here,
Once you get me here, you take me out here, it's still gonna be a strength. Yeah. Here, you're not working on the wrist. Now, when you're doing this, if you stay here and do that, this, okay, I'm gonna lean on this. Step. Turn.
Oh, okay, so with someone like you where, okay, he's stronger than I am, that's not easy. You get off angle.
We talked about, this being power line, so you need to be out of this power line, out of my power line.
In a way,
And then, again, the smaller the circle, I'm working on here, I'm not working on here, so both out. If I go out here, now I'm trying to work against that shoulder.
Now let me try to keep it the same way.
So even if I don't do a whole lot, if I just stay tight on that joint, I'm not working the little one. Now, just one more, just for, still bumping this one up, if I start adding in.
So.
So in this case, in this case, I'm using the motion of my hips to start off that circle, secondary, like to use this vertical direction.
Look at it, I'm trying to wrestle with his wrist, not his whole.
Here's the other thing too, like we were talking about that energy. Feel the difference. If I go. Alright, what did you do?
I told him, because I could
Right,
tell.
you know where I'm going. Right, so we're here, and we're doing whatever.
right?
Yes, you could do it like that.
It's just,
Downward, or actually move.
now I start
It
kind of
depends
dissipating that.
on which you want to
Feet.
go.
So you start
I
blowing
know
up,
expert,
whatever.
yes, isn't it?
When you go up and relax,
But
you're
if you're,
using the outside.
with the front edge towards this side, I would recommend it down. If you're using it on this side,
I see you
then
thinking about it though.
you've already got
I
the
can actually feel it going,
Yeah.
I can feel the hesitation.
use that to-
That's right. But you have to, because you're used to letting your body, let me tell you. For me,
it's a shift in mindset completely. And everybody wants to, okay, they're here, I'm gonna. Well, you ever get one, I don't know, you ever get one of these guys, like,
Yeah.
going up.
Looking at
The same thing. I mean, you go there long, it's harder to want both hands, and if I try to match that energy, now I start feeling the pain.
And if you get broken, now it hurts.
So, but the more you, and I just relax, you can squeeze all day long, and I feel no pain. If I'm here and I start squeezing, you still feel some pressure, right? Okay. Now, what I want you to do, I want you to try and tense with it.
Now my whole body.
Started out
Yeah,
to
but-
10.
Okay, so they were paying far less.
Yeah, to me, it's more pressure.
Is that the same?
I have myself, like, already putting myself in this position.
So if I was-
I've already decided
One way to take that is to,
go in
Just
one
over
way.
similar to our, the breathing.
So, basically, if you're turning.
not my favorite.
Completely all of this, you're using a lot more.
What I
energy to
usually end up
make
doing,
that-
what I try to do is harden the outside
Yeah, so if
while doing that
you're
on the
already
inside.
this,
So it's like,
stick
put on
to
a
it,
shell.
don't try to shift your entire
Is it kinda like
position.
Yeah, but instead of, hard, okay, hard over there. Yeah, you can take a little bit of that, right? Okay, now what we do is I want you to tighten, think about this tightening here.
In the moment.
No, like right now, just tighten here,
One thing
but
that is
from
good is that
the
you're.
back of your belly button to your spine,
Keep your pack
soft.
on.
To me, it still feels like you could knock the wind out of it more.
No, I can't, but you should feel that it's different, hard and everything. You're gonna get a different reaction.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna feel, with the first one, when I'm real relaxed, it felt like it didn't hurt me as much on the outside, but it feels like you could knock the wind out of me really hard enough. With the second one was intense, it felt like it hurt more on the outside, but at least it didn't feel like you knocked the wind out of me.
Yeah, all of it's gonna hurt, it's all gonna suck, especially like. You're trying to mitigate damage, not prevent damage.
Which is what it took me like 8 years to understand when you sparred.
Alright, yeah, man. Okay, Greg has a lot of good questions up here that, bear some discussion with the rest of you guys. And it feeds back into what I started with, was this relaxation. Okay. Meeting force with force is never a good idea. Even in karate, in Shikuru, one of our big principles is to angle. We don't want to oppose force with force. Right? So if we get in here, and Greg grabs, like we've been doing, and I start trying to he can actually feel that. The dancing part of it, that we started with, is teaching this feel, this biofeedback. The more he grabs, and the more I try and bow up, the harder all of a sudden my life becomes on every aspect. Right? He grabs, and I just fade away. The more he grabs, I fade away, and I slide out. So I kind of let him off balance himself. Now that was just me pulling out. Now the more he grabs, I start adding a little bit. And you probably haven't, but probably everybody else in this room has had, this handshaking thing. Get one of those jackasses and right? Where the pain comes from is if I try to match it. Okay, I get into this feedback loop. We start matching, it's gonna be who's ever gonna take the most pain. The more he squeezes, I just fade away. I squeeze all day long. And then just keep going, whatever.
It still hurts, but it doesn't hurt as much as if you're
Right,
fighting.
but the second that I start trying to do that, all of a sudden now I'm getting this pain right, just kind of working out.
When he did it to me and I loosened up, it hurt here a bit when he squeezed it. When I tensed up, my whole body hurt because I was fighting it and my body started reacting.
So would it be kind of like a net? The more you squirm against it, the more energy you waste?
Yes, I would absolutely agree with that.
I look at it, the more you let pass through you.
Same thing. Yes. I agree, yes, all of that. No?
Is-
Alright, yeah, we got time. time for one more. Which one is your TV or your KV more today? Come here.
Well,
That's how you really do it.
Okay, this one, right? Now, in the interest of completeness, because you'll hear me talk about this throughout, at this point, this is not the problem. What is the problem? That, or that, or that. Okay, but is always an option too, right? But we're not worried about it. For whatever reason, we're not worried about this for right now. But I want this hand off of it. So the same thing is going to apply. I can off balance him. However I want to off balance him. I'm going to come across to the back of his hand. My palm to the back of his hand. I make the circle around the long axis of his forearm. Put a little bit of a bend in the elbow. Take my pointer finger and very slowly, because this will break things, very, very, very slowly, I point at him. And by point at him, I actually mean point to the floor.
And that'll just
When
break
I
it.
get here, and if I go,
Ooh.
you probably won't even hear him scream before he passes out. Because it will snap there and possibly there at the same time. So again, I'm gonna off balance him in some way. Come across, grip. One thing about Taijutsu too, power of the pointer finger. Point where you want him to go. I want him up. Now I want him down.
Yes.
And you will go just that slowly.
Yes.
You will feel this tension. What happens if it gets to a point where he doesn't like it anymore? What does he do? Tap. Tap. No, not me. Tap on yourself.
This is being recorded, you're making us look bad.
Tap or take a.
Now I understand why when I was up seeing Hanshi, he said that I should be beating you guys more. Okay, now you'll notice one thing. I mentioned it before, but I want to show you the point. Elbow straight. Yeah. Elbow bent. Yeah.
So
Elbow
how do you,
bent.
oh, so you actually, if it's like that, you make it bend, you pull it over?
Yeah, if you get in here and he's straight, oh, I don't want straight, I'm gonna bend it a little bit. You guys aren't gonna do it just the way I did it, so. Again, slow, a little bend, slow. Tapping do well before that. She'll break your arm before she realizes it. Holmes?
Advice on someone that's really strong and it's just hard to,
You must irritate the can too.
they all off
Oh,
balance.
okay. True, true.
Then you got to really off balance.
Plus, like what you said about the little playing with the wrist versus the whole arm though, couldn't that still be applied to this? Like turning, focusing on the wrist piece instead of the whole body?
Oh, I am, yeah.
But I'm saying for his question.
Well, okay, you're right. Given this dynamic, if Juan were to bow up, yeah, I can just kind of work with it a little bit more. Sean Eric, bows up.
His wrist is like a foot, I got it.
Okay, so that's how I interpret his question. I went through the extreme. In this one, yeah, I mean, hard, come on, hard. He gets in here this way. Yeah, we can start working small joints until he lets go. But again, that takes energy, and you know, even though he's smaller than I am, he's not that much smaller. This is energy. Boom. This is not energy. This is taken away from it.
I feel like if I was in that situation, because I feel like I wouldn't be able to go super long, trying to figure it out, doing as fast as possible, like,
Well, here's the thing.
you know?
Okay, now, training method.
Yeah,
Day one. You're talking practicality.
yeah,
Anybody grabs you this way,
yeah.
you're going straight to the end. You're not gonna mess with taking a hand off. Because again, this is not the problem. The only reason this is a problem is to hold you in place while they do something, or to pull you somewhere. But in and of itself, the fact that it is there
Yeah.
isn't that big a deal.
actually could be helpful, cause they're pulling you in and you.
Nice, I was gonna comment on there, from a certain point of view, it's just gonna do a favor, it's taking away one of our weapons.
True, absolutely. Okay,
We're ready to proceed to break everything else.
let's back at it. Everybody try it a couple times, play with it a little bit. Again, this is slow. Whatever you think slow is, divide that by 2 and then divide it by 1,000,000 and go back slow.
I'm going to do it by the other arm.
Yeah.
Sorry, I pulled your ears.
Go off balance.
Like this,
Strong, what are you using?
and then like that.
You were there, and you were
There you go.
There are more,
Jackson,
one
you're
thing
attacking.
that I mentioned that my body and my mind.
I'm gonna disagree because I see the look on your face.
Is that there was a distinct bend.
That's kind of
Yeah.
a matter of perspective.
So,
And this bend is what
We're
causes
gonna have
most
to
of the
go
pain.
up
Okay.
a little, so I'm a bigger guy, I'm having.
Very,
So it might be okay.
My
You
hand
went
to go
like
over.
this.
It is.
Arm, that's where the arm is,
And if that
here,
works,
but
then
if it's not,
that way.
better keep it as low as you can.
So like that.
try doing it to me.
Okay.
He's gonna flank, so feel this tension and then stop.
So hit your,
One thing,
Yes, yes.
one thing for, what I remember
yeah,
is that basically he had this right angle of it,
yeah.
but the wrist was twisted to the point that right angle became extremely, well, painful.
So you were to do it. So then first like this.
All the way over, all the way over the top, okay? Grab the back of his hand and just basically straight
Kind
out.
of using senses to.
Yeah, right, that,
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Not-
Bend his elbow just a little bit. Bend his elbow just a little bit.
Not
There you
wrong,
go.
but not the technique we're looking for.
First and then.
yes.
Not so
I
much
think
towards
I
me,
think what they're
leave
doing
it
is
pointed toward the
twisting
ceiling,
it in the wrong
and go into it. There you go.
So which way should we do it then?
Basically, you're trying to turn it over so my, the palm of my hand is looking at my face. You're working with that,
Uh-huh.
but rather than go this, I don't know how to from your point of view,
Yeah.
clockwise, you're trying to go.
You saw me tap right or no?
One thing to remember with all of this, pinky finger to the sky, that's what we're trying to do.
Turn it like this and keep the same angle.
Okay, thank you. Let me rephrase that.
So-
Get it like that, it'd be perfect.
Pinky side of the hand to the sky. I don't want his pinky finger to the sky.
Now, don't try to rotate it in place.
Okay, so grab
I don't know which hand to
Move it
use.
down a
Choose
little bit.
whichever hand.
Move my body even down or just move
You,
down?
you can, but, I mean, this is the most important thing here, is this
And then
rotation.
you got this.
If
And
you-
you're feeling it, you're feeling it out.
Yeah. I just don't know what I'm doing wrong then, 'cause I'm not getting it.
Circle, bicep to circle.
You run the wrong side. Okay.
It's kind of the wrong angle, if you kind of want it like that.
More, you just go
Much
in
more
and-
hand.
So, with you, because of the way you are, I probably use them a little more.
This little bit of bend in the elbow.
You just keep saying,
Point this finger straight to this.
That there and that there.
I want you to very
More this
slowly
straight.
point at his throat.
That's
no
doable,
pushing.
but it's much harder.
Point at his
Get this
throat.
little bit of a bend.
Straighten out his body.
Elbow.
Yes, that's how it is.
Oh, I didn't tap yet.
So,
Not that much.
two of my hands.
All right, 2 more times each person, go.
You have
Yeah.
smaller hands.
And then young man.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's so ridiculous.
Okay, so then.
Now, you're continuing the circle this way. You didn't bicep the circle.
Oh, good. I felt like before when I did it, I wasn't turning
Okay,
far
so
enough.
feel better.
Well, for you, so like this,
Okay, like that,
and then,
the right angle, then you grab each of them.
and then towards you.
Yes,
Kind
but
of.
one thing that he insisted was using the, well,
The
right,
pointer finger?
the pointer finger. And you're trying to use that pointer finger
Okay.
and aiming it at
There you
the
go.
Okay.
So basically, you're trying to do it this way, kind of like,
Okay.
you know, thing.
So from this angle, it's like this.
for the technique, but you didn't get where you actually wanted to be, they've gone straight and down on you, go with something else.
It's, maybe it's a personal feeling, but I feel like I'm using a different technique. not
Finish your thought, Warren, speed it up,
Yeah,
your words.
I'm using a different technique.
okay.
Okay, cool, alright, you can say.
Most,
Okay, for those of you that are having problems with this, most of it was, for this technique, you want the edge of his, knife edge of his hand, pinky edge of his hand up, so that it's this way. Those of you that are having a problem, we're turning it all the way over, and then trying to do the same technique, which doesn't do anything. This is a good technique, it's a good wrist lock into an arm bar, but this is a compression technique, not, well, this is a long axis compression technique versus a short axis compression technique. Oh, cool.
most,
Alright, questions on any of that?
There are always questions.
There are always questions. Alright, before we get going, couple things. Yes, Wednesday, we will add to this, it'll be Taijutsu again Wednesday. Everybody, some of you I didn't have cell phone numbers for, and some of you that I forgot to include on the text, this Wednesday, toward the end of class, we are having a special guest instructor. Okay, she's up there on the, it's Sifu Anne Marie. She teaches Chinese Qigong, which is, well, I'll let her explain it, but for our purposes tonight, it's basically the mother art of all of the Japanese arts, including Taijutsu, kind of thing, or at least the basis of it, or a basis of it. Cool? So, barring your deaths, or the death of a loved one, please be here.
most,
If it's the death of a loved one, I'm sorry to hear that. If it's your death, make sure your ghost is here.
Priority, sir.
Exactly, always priorities. Okay? Don't insult the special guests that come in. And what happens when we embarrass Sensei in front of the special guests?
We end up missing, sir.
There you go. We used to have like 15 people in this class.
They're still here, but you just buried them.
They went somewhere, I don't know where they went. Yeah, you might not want to stand right on that spot. This concrete's still a little wet. Alright, okay, any questions on what we did tonight? No? Question.
So when you grab the person and you're going them forward, how do you deal with it's much stronger than you, or you can't get up with grip?
Change to something else.
Okay.
That's the short answer. If they're stronger than you are, there's always somebody stronger than you. Always. Like in,
You can
some of
use
you
me
have, sorry?
You can use me as an example.
No, that's not where I was going. Some of you haven't met him yet, Sean Eric. He's about a head taller than I am, probably another 80 pounds heavier. His wrist is about the size of my fist. Okay, two. Okay. He's stronger than I am, bigger than I am, stronger, you know, all that. To try and out muscle him, can I? Yeah. Takes a lot of energy, too long.
Yeah.
So, technique. The technique will win out over most of it. That's how, you know, people can get out of it. And not being stuck on things. Let's just pretend for a minute that Brandon decided he wanted to start taking steroids, lifting weights. He's now 300 pounds, looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger, or The Rock, I guess, probably a better example these days. And he's bigger and stronger than I am. And I need to move this hand, whatever. And I get in here, and I get fixated on, I can't move it, what's happening at this point? I'm getting beaten in the head. Huh? I do whatever, bam, that didn't work, we're on to something else. We don't fixate on one thing. That didn't work, next thing. That didn't work, next time. That didn't work, next time. Now, where's that come from? That ability.
Practice.
And? Yes. And?
Ability.
Technique.
Eh,
Pragmatism? Pragmatism.
In what way?
Basically, one thing doesn't work, you try another thing and another thing until it works.
Okay, right, but where does that ability come from? Yes, I agree with your statement.
It's a mindset. It,
True. Come on, nobody?
practice it.
Kata! What do you think we do? That's what dang was kata. How many kata do we do have one movement? Zero. Kata is not just a bunch of moves, it's also teaching strategy. Okay. For those of you that have kata already, think about why the kata turn, where they turn, and why they turn at that point, and the direction they turn. Because you're either doing something to the opponent you were just working on, or you're moving on to somebody else. Every time you move or turn in a kata, it's not just the technique that I'm worried about. It's how I got there and where I'm going next.
This,
Well,
Anything else? Alright, Saratsu.
Yusuke? Somebody right? Gianni right? Takani right?
お疲れ様でした。終わったね。Go home.